Yes.
Để mình拍一次手。 Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Pillowtalk. Today I have my friend Chak with me here. He's my friend from the AA. We met since first year. And basically I invited him here today to talk about what he loves doing the most, which is filming. He spent his final year project. I think he spent 2 weeks in India to film his project, and sort of going in through that, and then also maybe talking through the concept of time and sort of what he how he sort of makes sense of it all. So yeah, why don't we start just asking Chuck, what is the sort of most memorable experience as a part of your filmmaking in India?
Sure. So basically, I spent 2 weeks in Mumbai, India, and I went there alone. And I think traveling alone, it's not the first time for me to travel alone, but I think to go to a foreign city that I've never been probably is the first time. And that in itself is already quite a remarkable things, because you get to absorb a lot of the city, and because you have no one to talk to, and it also kind of forces you to break out of your comfort zone and actually got to engage with the people around you. I think for example, like eye contact, I think I had more eye contact with the strangers there in the city in Mumbai than in a city that I live in, because after a while I think I get used to being a tourist, and I know that people are friendly there, and don't know, just kind of feel like I'm not me anymore, like I am just a observer, and kind of open up a little bit more, because I think in a way I want to have engagement with the people as well, to that's kind of the first step before you do any filming, and kind of establishing also like a mutual agreement. Like if you want to film something, I think it's quite important that you have a first connection, which most of the time is the eye contact, and you kind of get a sense of the vibe, like whether or not it's okay to film, or yeah. So I think that's the first thing, traveling alone, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a very eye-opening experience, especially if you just go alone to a place where you don't know anyone, and you don't have friends there. You're just there alone as some sort of like observer. So I guess what I'm interested in knowing is, because film is such a powerful medium in sort of expressing your artistic let's say feel for the place, or like it's a great way to sort of let other people see how you view the world. How did you sort of make that balance between that artistic side of yourself and self-expression, with just being that observer that you're trying to be in the film? Because I think in the film there are lots of moments where when I watched it, I just felt like I was there. There's no I guess you choose the angles and you choose the framing, but other than that, I just felt like I was within this whole entirely different world. So how did you sort of manage those two things at the same time?
Yeah, so in the film I didn't include any dialogue, or kind of I didn't put my voice in it at all. It's not the kind of documentary where there is a narration in the background, and I basically just kind of want the audience to be there, and I would kind of see through the lens of the camera. And in a way, I think there wasn't much of a differentiation between an observer or the kind of artistry of the film, because I would say it's quite an honest reflection of what my mind is going through, because a lot of the things in a city just happen like this, and you need to be able to capture it straight away, and it's kind of a very intuitive reaction, or what catches why I'm interested. So it also reflected my own background, like, you know, probably things I found interesting is because it has some differences from my own experience in my own city. Yeah, so in a way it's quite direct. Yeah, like I just shoot a lot of things that make me curious, and always following my own curiosity, and I think that's what leads to a lot of the interesting journey, like, or meet different people, because I really just immerse myself there and just let myself get taken away by my own curiosity. It's a little bit of a risk. like like on the first day of my arrival, I remember I already met some locals there, and they invited me to a house party because someone's birthday, and I did go in the end. It wasn't like a indoor house party. It's not like in an apartment. It was more in just on the ground, like semi-open space. And I thought, like, you know what, like, this is maybe a chance for me to get deep into the culture, like to get some nice footages. But it could also be a little bit risky, to be honest, like, because I'm alone and it's my first day. I don't know anyone there. But then I kind of have this mentality that sometimes you just need to take risk.
Just need to go for it.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess throughout those 2 weeks, you saw a lot. You know, just being alone in a place where you know, you have no grip on, I think, is like, makes you feel also very vulnerable, I'm sure, when you're alone there. You know, even though you have that focus of like filming, it's like I'm sure sometimes you feel like you know, is what I'm doing like do you ever sort of doubt you know, if you sort of made the right decision in terms of what to film, like how because I'm not sure, but like in photography sometimes I have that issue as well, because sometimes I have that feeling of like, oh, maybe I think too much before I do something, or you know, maybe I sort of consider too many things at once, rather than just let myself be honest to what I find let's say is worth my time to sort of invest in. So I guess with that part of the experience, everything was so new. I'm sure because you've never been there and the whole culture is like very fresh to you. So were there moments where you sort of doubted, like, oh, is this sort of the right direction I want to go towards, or what were your sort of like thought process through that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I went there without too much planning in my head. Like there wasn't like a fixed topic on like or themes that I want to shoot. But definitely there is a reason behind why I chose Mumbai, because I started off kind of looking at mobility as an overall theme. But I remember my tutor just kind of tell me, like, you know, just forget about the topic and really just focuses on your own curiosity. Just whenever you see something, you just shoot. Like, you don't think too much. Like, because you only have limited time, and you need to gather as much material as you can. And definitely, I had that worry as well. Like, thinking, oh, like, starting to count down. Like, do I have enough material? Like, but I think, well, I also had like a bit of a experience that before my final year started, where I went camping alone for 3 days in the nature. In the nature, sounds weird to say that. In UK anyway. Yeah. And during that experience, it taught me that everything will be fine. It has like rooted a very strong belief in my heart that everything will be fine. Like, you just need to believe that it will all sorted out. So I kind of took on that belief and applied it to my journey in Mumbai, and it seems like when I just trust and follow my intuition and don't worry too much, things will kind of work out. And to be honest, I really like just kind of rationalize or kind of summarize to kind of analyze why I shot certain scene later on. Then I think, oh, maybe this is why. But during that time, I didn't really think too much. But also in terms of like that kind of inner struggle as a filmmaker, or to documentary, when you are shooting some scenes that it's kind of it's not like those kind of happy moments, or when it's kind of maybe more raw, more rough. Sometimes I hesitate, like, oh, like, is it morally okay like to do that? But I think at that point I kind of just need to check out my own ego and identity. Like, you're just there to document things, and it is what it is. Like, and I think as long as you like mentally, and you don't have a very your own judgment on the thing, just kind of like see it as how it is, I think that then it will be fine. I think some of the inner struggle is just in your head, like,
that process of editing and like really trying to understand what it is that you were looking at the moment, and trying to find that thread maybe that connects all of the things together. Did you sort of find that thread by chance as well when you were editing, or like did that thread slowly come to you when you were filming, or is that experience already the thread? Like, is your experience there already threaded together either by time or by chance? Like, where do you see that thread within this whole process?
Definitely I think there must be a thread why I shot certain things, like why I'm curious about certain things. But in terms of the film, or how I kind of find out the theme of it, which is the word jugaad. The name of the film is Jugaad. It's a Hindi word roughly translated as an innovative fix or solution that bends rules. Something, as long as you do the job in the most efficient way, that's fine. And I think people there really live in a very creative ways, and really actively using the city for their own whatever purposes. But I guess the order of things, like ultimately is still a film, and aesthetically it needs to look good. So we'll pick out the most like the best film footages that will be like, okay, this is the key thing. We'll somehow need to make it happen, and make it work. So that also helped to generate the overall theme by picking out the best shots. And then you start to see, okay, how can we make it? And then slowly like thing just come together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many different versions. I'm sure any filmmaker would have done the same thing. There'll be like thousands of versions. Different sequences would have different effects
Mm-hmm.
and meanings. And personally, I make a lot of travel, just kind of fun travel films, like little YouTube films. So I tried to edit the film based on my own kind of intuition and maybe based on the element of sound as well. There was like one edition where I edited the film according to sound, like from very noisy, because Mumbai is super busy, like you always hear honking all the time. And just different kind of bells, like the fenders would like have all different kinds of fenders will have different kind of bells as well.
Right.
So I try to edit it through this sound and use it as a journey to guide through the city. But maybe the theme wasn't very strong, or there's also a restriction that this film need to be shown in architecture school.
Right.
So I think that is definitely one limitation as well. Sometimes you need to bullshit your way through and make it happen in architecture context. And the film itself, now that I look back after 1 year without looking at it, I think it's actually quite intense or a little bit too fast. Like 8 minutes, I try to squeeze in everything, and I think there still could be a more improvement, like maybe take longer duration for some clips. And I would really love to make an edition where I just don't think about the concept, like but more on the feelings, like kind of continue with my sound edition, just edit the film according to how I feel, that just feel nice, doesn't need to have a meaning, but just there I remember there are some shot I never shown in the kind of final film. It was when I went to a seaside fishing village, and it was super quiet, like it was very far away from the traffic, so all you can hear is some kind of birds and a bit of sea waves and people sweeping for the when they were sun drying some what's it called, crops, or I really enjoyed that scene because I was a bit tired as well, and I was just sitting there really being very patient, just observing their slow life. That's probably one of my favorite part, and I do want to make it into my film. So hopefully I got time to make a longer version, probably like 30 minutes. But it'll be much longer for each duration.
You should do like a director's cut. Just
and with me speaking behind, like why I that would be interesting. It's like a little vlog. Vlog, but not in a way that I feel myself like I'm here. But I guess it's a vlog as well because people can sense my presence through the way I look. Don't know, do you feel any presence of me? Like maybe there are moments where you can sense my existence in a shot, or not at all?
I think because I've watched like a lot of the videos that you've made, not for school. And like those are very like you're very present in those, like the way the music you choose, the mood you try to create. But in this one, it's like almost like opposite, I feel. Or I feel your presence in a way that I'm with you there, but not as like a personality. I'm with you like in the like through the journey and your experiences and like everything. So in that sense, like you're definitely there, but not in like a character sense. I feel like it's like not as strong as the ones where you go on your travels and stuff. And I guess just on that topic as well, like just moving away from this film Chak, like what in comparison to those, you know, more fun clips that you do, like what actually made you start those things? Is it like, you know, is it like you're trying to create something almost like a memorabilia of like those moments that are ordinary, that maybe when you look back on, like in a few years time, you can still feel those same emotions and experiences? Like is there a sort of reason why you chose to make films as a way to remember and a way to celebrate things?
I guess I wasn't sure why I started filming, to be honest. I know like at the beginning of me making clips, little videos mainly for my friend's birthday.
Okay.
And maybe because I got when I got a camera, then I, you know, when you're young, you're just curious and you just you just want to experiment things. I don't know, when you're younger, you used to take more pictures and videos, just random stuff. I guess you have yeah. But now I don't know, I think it was a decision when I make those film, especially when I'm more skilled with making those kind of travel films. It becoming more of a decision. Why? Because you know that when, for example, before I go to like a Japan trip, and you need to decide whether or not you want to constantly focusing on a camera. You know you're gonna miss out some of the kind of real
life stuff.
Like real life experience. You need to sacrifice those moments to make a film. So I think it really becoming more of a decision. It's no longer just like, okay, because you have a higher expectation for yourself for the film. So you when I decided to make a film before I travel, that's kind of the things that goes on in my mind. But now that I look back at those old films, I'm very, very glad and happy that I made them, because I will never look that young again. And I can look back and see how I used to be. But it's also I think those films do capture a certain feelings usually the music that I chose for all those traveling films are related to the vibe or the mood, how I feel when I get to that city, and my overall experience. So I think I'm just grateful that I made those films.
Nowadays I really try to start to have that as a practice, and I think, I mean, filmmaking is just one of them. You know, I usually like taking photos, or like I recently started getting into like Polaroids. And I think Polaroids are like super effective, because when you take that photo, it's like it prints out right away. And like that's almost like a moment or a process that you sort of remember. And it's like these, you know, when you're young, it's like you almost don't really feel the scale of time. I just remember back then I don't even know like what's going on, you know, like you feel like you're invincible, and time is never gonna run out. You know, but obviously that's not the case. You know, everyone you know, has a beginning and end. Every story has a beginning and end. So I think that's probably what makes these moments, or every moment, worth sort of remembering or worth documenting, I think, rather than maybe focusing on too much, like, oh, is that like really boring stuff, or like, is that really worth your time or investing your time into? I think that's almost like irrelevant, because I think each moment is unique on its own. You know, I'm sure if you arrived like maybe even like an hour later than you did in India, you would have missed out on that entire like birthday party thing. You know? Like you probably would have met different people. So the whole film would, you know, the whole course of the film would change. So I think like in terms of like the uniqueness of each moment is I think something that is just something that's so beautiful in terms of like that sort of almost overrules the idea of whether or not you think it's worth remembering, you know. Just I think, you know, and if you take a photo now, if you in a few months time, you'll probably look back and you'll feel the sort of real value of that thing. So I think in that sense, like that memory is not created to be viewed now. Almost it's like something to be left alone. And as time goes by, that thing just becomes more and more valuable. So I guess is that sort of what you feel right now, or like how do you sort of see your films in like the wider context of your life at the moment?
How did it segue to this question?
Like I guess like, because I think this like the perception of time and like the concept of it changes all the time. And I think, I mean, we're not that old. I mean like we're nearly 30. So you know, like how do you think there was an evolution of how you saw like I guess the idea of time, like from like if you compare it to like when you were young to like, you know?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can say for sure, it's not so much related with film, but I have been doing this little diary thing. It's a line a day, and basically capture on each page it's the same dates and month, but then it go across 5 years, so you can see what you were doing a year, 2 years before and stuff. And I realized that you don't really remember your days, because sometimes I will miss a few days. The thing is, like, if I stop writing for, let's say, one day, and I was like, okay, I will do it tomorrow, I would just, you know, I still remember what happened yesterday, I can do it tomorrow. Thing is, like, once you pass maybe like 2-3 days, you're starting to lose out all your memories. Like all the little detail stuff you will forget. Like all I can write is probably, I went to office and I did this that day, but all the little detail things you forget. And I guess maybe that's kind of where those photos and films come in. Like what you said about, is it worth the time? Like, is it important? But those are the things that makes up most part of our life. So I guess it's good to have some sort of habit to capture those little things. But while you were saying, while you were speaking just now, I was also thinking, how does Instagram affect? Like,
that's pretty interesting.
Because most of the people are, for me, I would only like, because you were saying about capturing things. Obviously, we post picture on Instagram and we capture the supposedly the best moment. Or even on stories. But like, it's very rare that we will look back to the
Right.
to the archive to
Yeah.
look back those stories,
Yeah.
unless you need to find out something, to fish
Yeah.
out something. I don't know, like, would it makes me becoming less creative or recording, like, before when there was no Instagram, I make films because that's the sort of social media, or like you put films on YouTube so you can share it.
Yeah.
But then the process time, it's longer. You take longer time to prepare the film, to film it,
Yeah.
and maybe it's more memorable, I guess. I don't know, just like thinking, yeah.
I mean, I think right now, like, it's just that everything's so quick, everything's like so convenient that maybe it's so easy that it almost, you lose the process. Maybe is that what you're trying to say? Like, the process, I guess, is what makes that thing valuable. Like, if you spend more time on it, thinking about how this film is gonna be, you edit, it's almost like the story is sort of like, can I say it's like sort of like diluting your experience of something, because in a way you're seeing it through your phone, and at the same time that thing probably doesn't do the real thing justice, right? Like, you're not completely 100% in that moment, because you have to think about, oh, I'm gonna take my phone out and like, record this, and you're sort of like distracted at the same time, right? Because you're thinking about how, oh, I'm gonna make this look pretty for like other people to see, and at the same time it's also like you have to be there and be present. So I feel like maybe that becomes a distraction, rather than, I mean, I think it does have value if you're trying to, maybe like just document like very specific things that, let's say maybe in like a diary format, but I think it does become, for me at least, like a distraction when it's just like you have to be there and be present, but at the same time you have to think about something else.
But I think it goes with filming as well, and I think that goes back to what I said, when I decide to make a film, it definitely, I already knew I'm gonna sacrifice that part. But I was just thinking, like, for Instagram, if it's like more on the photo side, like, it's only gonna capture us, that really, like, that one snap, that moment. But for film, it's a longer duration, and I think making a film also takes, you need more material. So in a way, it kind of captures more of the, not just one best moment, but also part of the journey, like the process stuff. And I think maybe I was just thinking how, whether or not it will have an effect, because definitely I think I get lazier to make films. One of my friends said, like, I noticed there was a YouTuber hasn't uploaded for 8 months now. I might unfollow. I mean, that's me. Like, she's indicating that's me. But maybe because of Instagram, I felt like, oh, like, it's okay, I documented it, or it's already recorded. And because it's so quick with Instagram, maybe the content or the quality wasn't as good. That's why I was like thinking, like, what, maybe it has an effect on on my creativity, maybe. But I see some people also use it very well, to share their poems, or using those, I like those Instagram story where you just shot maybe a still shot of some moving, like maybe the tree leaves, but then you have like a little title, like blackout square and white text in the middle. I like that kind of composition as well. It's kind of nice, like short little piece, maybe with a poem with some moving background. So I think it could also be nice if you decide to challenge that kind of format. But maybe it's also a good way, looking on the kind of good side is because it's so quick to do,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't give you that sense of pressure. Like,
That's
oh,
true.
it's like has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It could be also like maybe I should do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I should
yeah.
like try this as a challenge.
Yeah.
Like just do little Instagram story
Film.
short clips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, sounds interesting. Yeah, I think, um, yeah, that's probably something to explore. You know, maybe as a new way of like just documenting, or like maybe it's like you can sort of combine your diary thing, but maybe it's like one clip a day or something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
just something that you find or something that interests you or whatever. You know, just go with whatever you see, I guess, in that moment, and just, I guess, be open, right?
Yeah.
Be open to like anything that sort of comes your way. I think every day maybe it just feels like it's repeating or whatever, but I think there are very specific moments that our brains at least, or our subconsciousness choose to remember. Even though, you know, you go to work every day, you get off work, you know, it's like the same thing, different day. But there are very specific things that maybe it's like a smell, maybe it's like someone wearing something, you know, could be anything.
There's
Yeah.
actually this app where you say like one video a day. There's this
Mhm.
app called 1 second a day.
Oh.
I used it before. I think it's just called 1 second maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And you with this app you literally just press and hold for a few seconds,
Yeah.
and they will automatically maybe choose 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see kind of it's like a kind of video diary,
Okay.
and you can kind of you can export that compiled video whenever you want.
Okay.
And I think
okay.
it was pretty nice, like because it's only 1 second, it doesn't take you that long. As long
Mhm.
as you get into this habit, it's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like something to remind you, like you said, maybe the smell.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more personal
Yeah.
thing. Like people might not get why you shoot that scene,
Yeah.
but for you, like it means something. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also like a mindful moment. It's like when you're actually just observing and being open to all that the world is presenting you.
Mhm.
It almost like, for me at least, it sort of sets you free for a while, just to get yourself out of your head and understand that, you know, there's a world outside of your head. And I feel like having that outlet is already a kind of like creativity, you know. Doesn't have to be like really, you know, you spend a long time on it or something, you know. You can just be as intuitive as you want in that moment. So if the audience wants to find your film Chak, where can they find it?
It's on Vimeo and also on YouTube. It's called if you type Vimeo, I think Chak and maybe my name Chak, I think then you can find it maybe.
Okay.
Chak spelled Jugaad.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this microphone.
Yeah, so if you want to look more into his film or films or any of his work, I guess he has a
down
YouTube
in description.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel and Vimeo channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is also called Chak. That's my full name. If you type it in, you'll find it.
Yeah, so I'll put
Also
it.
my Instagram, Chak, same.
Yeah.
My name.
Yeah, so if you're interested in finding out more, I'll put the link of the video in the description. So yeah, thanks so much for being here. It was super fun talking about all this stuff.
It was super fun talking all this stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I guess that's it.
All right.
Thanks.